This is 17 News, your local election headquarters.
And welcome to your Election Connection headquarters. I'm Jim Scott along with Maddie Gannon. It is 8:46 now, and polls have been closed for about 45 minutes here in Kern County, and we have our first look at the numbers this evening, and we'd like to share them with you right now. Let's start with the 22nd Congressional District, Maddie.
Yeah, as you can see, Rudy Salas currently in the lead, the only Democrat in this race. David Valadao, the Republican incumbent, is trailing behind there. He has the next amount of votes. You see right now, then you have Adam Medeiros and Chris Matisse. It looks like Adam Medeiros is a little bit ahead of Chris Matisse.
And we're sorry about the switch on those names there. Those names of Mr. Matisse and Mr. Medeiros need to be switched back. Okay, let's go to the 20th Congressional District. Will it be Marissa Woods versus incumbent Kevin McCarthy in November, or perhaps one of his Republican challengers? Here's the way the numbers break down at this early juncture in the evening, with 22% of the precincts reporting in. Kevin McCarthy has about a 2-to-1 margin of victory over Marissa Woods, but it is early yet, and it'll be interesting to see if Kevin McCarthy eclipses that 60 percentile mark, which basically means he's pretty much untouchable in this district, right?
Right. And he'll still be in the general election in November, but it'll be a strong indicator of his support.
Right.
And then in the newly redrawn, heavily Republican 12th State Senate District, we have, this is not the right picture, we apologize for that, but we have Shannon Grove, Republican incumbent. She is heavily in the lead right now. You can see only 19% though of precincts reported. Suzanne Gundy, the Democrat, is trailing her in this race.
It is a packed field for the 16th Senate District. This is a race to watch throughout the evening. Senator Melissa Hurtado currently represents the 14th District, one of 5 candidates in this race. And she will look at these numbers early on, though. David Shepard, the Republican from Porterville, out in front in this race, followed by Hurtado and Nicole Parra, former Assemblywoman. So this will be a very interesting race to watch throughout the evening.
Absolutely. And in the new 35th Assembly District, this is not the right picture as well. We'll switch it over. There we go. We have 2 Democrats in this race. Both of them will move on to the general election in November, but this should give us a pretty good indicator of where the votes are coming in. We'll see if any candidate pulls away with it. We have 39% in right now. Democrat Leticia Perez, current 5th District Supervisor, is ahead of Bakersfield Dr. Jasmeet Baines.
All right. In the 2nd Supervisorial District, incumbent Zach Scribner, running for his 4th term in office as 2nd District County Supervisor. He could win this outright if he gets more than 50% of the vote, and we'll see how that plays out over the course of the evening. And in the 3rd Supervisorial District, this is a race featuring 3 strong candidates.
Absolutely. We have Jeff Flores, a Republican. He is in the lead right now. He is currently Mike Maggart's chief of staff. And then we also have another Republican here, Brian Smith. He's trailing Jeff Flores. We have the only Democrat in this race, Lewis Gale, the former Bakersfield Homeless Center CEO, right now taking last place. We only have 18% in as of now. All
right. Early on, and here is the Assessor Recorder race for you. This one is, generated quite a bit of political controversy in the last couple of weeks. Laura Avila is the Assistant Assessor Recorder, and she has 61% of the vote at this early juncture. Again, Todd Reeves is a chief appraiser within the assessor's office, and he has 39% of the vote.
And lastly, in the Auditor Controller County Clerk race, it looks like Amy Espinoza, who is currently the Assistant Auditor Controller County Clerk, is in the lead right now. Mark McKenzie is trailing behind. We know this race has been very contentious. We've seen a lot of residents here in Kern stand up and express concerns with our elections. And of course, this is the race to run our elections here in Kern.
And this one features, again, an insider and an outsider.
Right.
And the insider, of course, being Amy Espinoza, and Mark McKenzie on the outside looking in. All right, let's welcome back our very patient political analyst, Kathy Abernathy on the right, Neil Sinapa on the left. Any thoughts on the early numbers? I know it is early, and it's not really fair to make any to ask you, but I will anyway. Anything jump out at you?
Well, we have to be careful judging the percent of the vote, because it's a little bit misleading to say 39% of the vote is in, because that's 39% perhaps of what they had, but not what's still out there to count. So it's not like a third or a fourth or a fifth or 50% has been counted. But there's a trend there. I think interesting. I think in the Valadeo congressional race, he's pulling more than with the Republican vote. He's very strong there. So that should be interesting for November. And I think that's, of course, the real battle for Congress is how it goes in November.
No doubt. Neil, any thoughts on the early numbers?
I honestly think we don't have enough numbers yet to really tell anything right now. But as you look at District 22, it does seem that Rudy is doing fairly well. So that's a good sign for Democrats. But other than that, you can't really tell anything. Soup 3 looks really interesting. Looks like Lewis might be able to leapfrog somebody or not, but we'll have to see.
Long night and perhaps a long several days for those for all candidates as these numbers trickle in.
It's definitely going to be tough because there's when I checked, you're able to check what parties voted yesterday, and there was about 5,200 Democrats that had voted, 6,400 Republicans that had voted, about 2,000 NPPs. So it doesn't look that great, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully Lewis will be able to pull through.
Now, these early numbers are coming from the earliest mail-in ballots, right? And so about 40,000 mail-in ballots have been counted so far?
Well, they had authorized and verified signatures for about 45,000. That was as of Friday. And so really these tonight are only going to be those. Generally they never even touch the weekend ones or Monday or Tuesdays. So that will be later in the week or 4th of July, I don't know.
What about voter turnout? I mean, we've had some anecdotal evidence that it is extremely low. Then some precincts in southeast Bakersfield, 10, 12, 15 people showing up during the course of the day, and that was it.
Well, the statewide races, there wasn't much excitement or campaign. So when you don't see governor race or treasurer race making a lot of news, or the U.S. Senate race didn't even make news. And here we have, it's a whole new 6-year term, and there really isn't any competition that you're seeing. So that obviously makes turnout just be local races.
All right. You two have watch parties to go to, and we want to thank you for hanging out with us, and thank you for your patience, both of you. Neil Sinapa, Kathy Abernathy, and you'll both be on 17 News Sunrise bright and early tomorrow morning, right? Okay, more election results from your election connection here on KGET.com throughout the evening. For Matt again, and I'm Jim Scott. We'll see you in a while.